Welcome back to another episode of The Business Therapist. I'm your host, your host. How about your co-host? Because Arnell's the host. Arnell, how are you, man?
Hey, I'm doing good. We're episode 3. This is exciting.
3. It's the big 3. I love it. And this is a really important topic today. We're talking about how to create more time, because every entrepreneur I ever talk to is like, oh, I'm too busy. I need more time.
That's correct.
And the curse of busyness.
Oh yeah, busyness. Yes.
Don't. Very dramatic music. So talk to me about what you see in entrepreneurs as it relates to their time, their calendar, and like sort of their addiction to busyness.
Yeah, it's interesting. Depending on where the business owner's at, like a lot of small business owners, when they first start out, their busyness is if you pull out their calendar and you look at it, they only have appointments with sales. But they're feeling they have to be busy because they just had to keep moving. Mm-hmm. Then you have an established business owner, and I see a lot of established business owners, they have a calendar, but their calendar has got stuff. Like I just feel like I got all this stuff I got to do, and I was like, well, how do you categorize it? How do you determine what's a priority or not? And I'm like, oh no, Arnell, it's in my head. I was like, in your head? It's like, yeah, I have it written down on the calendar, but it varies, it gets fluid, and I don't time block. And I'm like, well, what does it do? I'm just working 40, 50, 60 hours a week. I can't get off at work, and I can't understand why I can't just, I'm not productive, but I'm just very busy. And I'm like, well, are you making money? Are you hiring staff? Are you delegating? I don't know. I just feel overwhelmed. Or I have some people who are very successful and they have a really tight calendar and they do really well. But if you look at it, they have no downtime. No downtime with family. Yeah. They have no downtime for themselves. They just keep working. And I think that it's kind of interesting, because if you ask them, are you busy? Oh yeah, I'm really busy. But if you ask them, are they making money? Are they enjoying the journey? Or are they taking more time off? Nothing.
Yeah. It's so crazy because you could have, there's two camps. Like there's the camp where they're successful, like they're making money, but they're working 40, 60 hours a week. Like they don't have any downtime. Then you've got the people who are not making money.
That's correct.
Who are busy and there's no downtime. And both the common thread through both is they don't have downtime.
That's right. No downtime. No downtime at all. And a lot of them don't take vacations, and even, and if they do, it's almost, you got to give them permission. Hey, your business is doing really well. You have staff. Why don't you just take some time off? Well, I can't do that, Arnell. Well, why not?
Because why? Yeah.
Because I don't feel like I can leave it for like a weekend.
Oh my God. So many people say that. I don't feel like I can leave it.
That's right.
It's crazy. It's like we create golden handcuffs. You're like saying, hey, congratulations, you own a business, but you're stuck. You're now trapped inside your own business, inside your own creation.
Correct. That's correct. It's scary too, because when I go and talk to people, it's like, well, you got an office manager, you got a salesperson, you got a operations person. Why don't you want to take vacation? Well, I don't think they could do it better than like I do. Yeah, but why did you hire all these people? Well, I had to hire all these people. Well, when are you going to take a vacation or two, or you're, don't you have some young kids? Yeah, but they understand I own a business. They understand I got to provide food for the family. I was like, well, how's your relationships going at home? Well, they're okay. I was like, really? That's kind of interesting,
Yeah. And so there's something about like when you, any human that you ask, like, what do you want in life beyond, like, I think there are people who are like, we love the game of business.
That's correct.
It's a creative outlet for us. We're like, we love the game of business. That's great. But if you said, what's it all for?
That's correct.
We'd come back to lifestyle.
That's correct.
And if I said, well, what about lifestyle? Then what does lifestyle mean? They'd be like, well, it's about family. It's about enjoying life. It's about experiences, creating memories. It's all this stuff right? But none of that is what they're doing.
That's correct.
With any extra time in their calendar.
Right. And what happens, it's almost frowned upon. I mean, I remember when I was working for a gentleman, he said, very successful, executive director of BNI. He said, Arnell, you got to work 68 hours a week. When you get there, then you can spend time with your family because you've already built the business. You just got to put the time in it. And then when you get there, when you actually hit a certain threshold, you can put the time in it. You can take some times on weekends, and then some people believe that, like, I'm just going to keep working until I get there, but they don't even know what get there looks like.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. How do you know when you get there?
Yeah, they don't, and then they can have all the staff.
Yeah.
All the people on there, but they're like, I just got to keep working.
Listen, as much as I'm catching myself here because I'm feeling a little vulnerable because I'm like, as much as I'm saying they don't, I realize that this has happened to me. I'm not saying this from a place of, right, like I figured this out. I'm saying from a place of like, it is an issue. And I, as an entrepreneur, can wrestle with this on a daily basis of like, what's the balance between pushing forward, not just for the business to be successful, but for what's in my head to create.
That's correct.
Because for an entrepreneur, there's always more in your head.
That's correct.
Than what is currently in reality.
That is always true.
It will never end.
That's right.
It will never end. And then balancing that with like hanging out with my family.
And here's the thing, interesting, Chris. I always tell people like, look, I got a client who's a chiropractor, and I was like, okay, look, you hired staff, you got an office manager, you got to hire more people. They're so close to tip over where you literally can take a breather because you have enough people do the work. Now you need to take a pretty long vacation with your husband because he works in the practice. And then let's go ahead and take a vacation, rest up, because we really need to build a business for the next 4 to 9 months so we can stabilize it, put the marketing in place. But you got to get ready because you might be on a treadmill for 4 to 6 months or 4 to 9 months, putting the people on the process in place so that you don't have to be the person always putting the hands on the clients.
Right.
You can have enough staff. And she goes, why? I said, we don't, then you have all the staff, but you're not freeing up your time to do other things you want to do. But you got to take a vacation because you can get ready. It's going to be a lot of work. It's like how, they say that the marathon runners get that second breath or something like that. Yeah. It's the same thing. It's the same thing with business owners. They got to take the second or third breath for that long marathon to actually grow. And the biggest challenge I find out with most of them is that it's okay to do that. Take a step back, take a vacation, relax, and get ready. Okay, I'm going to get on that treadmill for a while, but it's because of that purpose I want to accomplish some time and money. Versus just going in there and not doing it at all.
So I'm curious, like at the root of all this, right? Like at the source of this busyness curse, because I really believe there is a curse to this. Like there is a curse, maybe mystical, but there's this like behavior or an addiction, a rhythm that we put ourselves in as entrepreneurs, where we never get time back. So what is it why is that?
Well, I think there's some business owners who love the high of chasing the build. Yeah. Or hunting for the business. Good. Yes. They love that high and they don't want to get rid of it. I have some owners who just love the high of moving fast, building fast, and doing things. And then I have some owners who just know they just have to be there, and somebody didn't tell them they could take a vacation. I just have to be there. I just have to do all this stuff. I was like, who told you that? I'm like, well, somebody told me successful. You just got to put the hours. It's either they have a tendency because they just love that high, or someone's told them that you have to do it this way. Yeah. And that's the only way. And that's all they believe until the rubber hits the road and they're like, it's not moving. It's not working for me. I don't understand. So, I always tell you, you got to make your own rules. Right. The pace is your pace. I don't judge the pace. I just look at if you're getting the results you want and are you happy? Are you moving forward? If you're not, then you got to make some adjustments.
It is interesting to me that there are like in the middle of people in both paths who either are choosing it because they like the high of it, or they're choosing it because they don't know there's another option, right? Somebody told them you have to do that. That both can have a complaint of, I don't have any time.
That's correct.
They both chose it. It's both of their own choosing.
That's correct.
But both would say, man, I wish I had more time, or I don't have time for that, or whatever. Like there's this vision of, or this possibility of something else lifestyle wise.
That's correct.
That they could be doing, and they know that's there. They feel that, but they're kind of bound to the choices they've made. So how do we start to work our way into some balance? Like how do we work our way back towards some lifestyle versus just always working?
Yeah, I think that what I tell a lot of the clients is that, like I have a client right now who is a realtor, and she's been out of balance. When she said, when I was in balance, I would run every day. I was in great shape. I said, well, okay, what do we think? What do you have to do to, because they all of them love their business. They're just not. Right. They're not in balance with their life and their business. Nothing's in sync. So I said, what do you have to do? They're like, well, I need to take a vacation. I need to go ahead and look at my goals. I need to go exercise. I mean, what I really figured out is, I realized if they're out of balance, they have lost their confidence. They lost their their drive to be successful. So a lot of times you got to take them a step back. So let's look at your goals. Do you need to exercise? Do you need, because mental and exercise and doing mental, if you exercise and you're gradually getting better and better, it builds the mental energy, builds like confidence. So a lot of times what happens, they just kind of fall off their confidence for whatever reason, and they just need to build it back up again. So a lot of times you got to take a step back and go, okay, let's look at everything, get them moving, get them to build confidence, get them to look at the business a little different, get them to look at skills and understand it. And here's the other thing. I think most of them think they have to be superhuman, because you never hear business owners like, I'm really struggling. They just they don't say any of that stuff. They're like, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. And you sit down with them, oh man, I'm struggling. I said, well, you told me you're doing good. Well, I don't want to tell anybody because I really don't want anybody to look bad on me. And I got to really business, and there's a lot of pressure on me. I don't know how to, who do I talk to? I can't talk to my spouse, and I don't know who's, I can't talk to my best friend. And I had one guy goes, no one understands about the pressure of owning a business. He goes, my wife just wants to make sure there's food on the table. We get, there's money coming in. I can't tell her how, how a struggle is, why I work late. She can understand, but when she knows it's stressing me out, I can't go there. So so a lot of times,
that's right.
They're on their own. They have nobody to talk through their stuff so they can get refocused.
Dude, I love that you said, I love that about you. Like this is why business therapist concept is so great, because I love that you see that there's this confidence thing. Like when you get off your pattern, when you get off your routine, when you get off the things where there's balance, it starts to erode confidence. And when you erode confidence, how great of an entrepreneur can you be? Like your journey as an entrepreneur requires you show up with confidence.
That's correct.
Nobody wants to buy from somebody that isn't confident.
That's correct.
I mean, so that you see that this is the whole thing about like the soft skills, the stuff that's behind. So I think in our day and age with like immediate results, we're always looking to like the very tangible, very concrete, very tactical. Oh, Facebook ad this and content marketing that. And none of it comes back to like, oh, I'm not running lately. I haven't been running lately. And that's eroding my confidence.
Yes.
It's so simple, but it's like so important, and we just overlook it.
You're right, because they go in feeling like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And if everything falls well and they start and things are going good. But as soon as it hit one thing that doesn't go well, then hits another thing. You have problems at home. It's another thing.
Yes.
It basically cascades. It
snowballs. It's snowball. Yeah. Big snowball.
And they go, and they're like, I don't really understand what's happening. And really what it is, it's one decision added on all of these other decisions, and probably they have no effect. They may have made one bad decision, but it's all compounded, and then they can't get out of that rut.
What are some ways that so as you've worked with clients like this, because I know you have, what are some of the very simple places you've had them go to work? Like, how do you get them back into a place of confidence so that they can make some decisions for lifestyle and not just always working?
I think the first thing you do is you got to go back and ask them, why are they in business? Why do they do their business?
Right. Yeah.
And some people, some people have been in the business so long, they can't remember the why. They're just like, well, I wanted to build this business because I wanted to, provide for my family, so is it still the same? I don't know anymore. Or they have a strong why. Then you try to take them a step back and say, why don't you take a vacation? I'm really scared to do it. Then I was like, okay, let's start small. Are you one of those people take big steps or small steps? Well, even if somebody takes big steps is so nervous, they don't want to take any big steps. I said, well, can you take a half day off? You take a couple hours. Well, what am I going to do that time? What do you like? I like to go play golf. We go play golf. Well, you got to be kidding me. And look, if you don't start taking these steps, you're never going to get out of this situation you're in.
Yeah.
So what I usually have to do is I have to figure out from that person, what do they like to do that they used to do before the business got busy that they would do again, or what would they do again, or what would they explore they really love to do? They just don't think they have the time to do it. Some people I find out, like there's one of my clients just loves to run now. She gets up every morning and she runs. She's actually training. She's running a marathon next week because she's been training for 4 or 5 months. And she's like, this running thing, Arnold, it's really built my confidence. I mean, that's why I said, you got to join this running club. You got to go and get involved in this community. And she's like, why? I said, because it's community, everybody running, it's inspirational. And she goes, She goes, this is really building my confidence. And now when I talk about adding more stuff in our business, she goes, I'm ready to do this thing. Because there's a correlation between confidence and growing your business. Yeah. It's so weird. Good. It's weird like that.
So good. I love that because it's so true. I think it's, do you do any work in mindfulness? You know, like I think mindfulness is this thing where like when we start to be more self-aware of the things that bring us life and the things that give us confidence, when we're aware of those things, like a running club, like when I run, I feel good. That's mindfulness to me, right? Because I'm mindful of the things that make me confident. But I think sometimes in the flurry of building a business, we just kind of like drop everything that was ever important to us and we just go build.
That's correct.
You know,
yeah, you're right about that. And I think what's happened is, you know, I think about mindfulness is very powerful because I think if you look for mindfulness that keeps you in line on how to take care of yourself, in relationships, your health and all that, financial, it parlays right into your business where it's almost a mirror effect. So I think when people grow a business, they get rid of the personal stuff. They forget. They don't want to do it anymore because they got to put it all in the business. And I think it's a balancing, or I call it, you got to fight to retain the lifestyle personally and in the lifestyle in the business so that they're in sync. You know, they're never in balance. They're just in sync. You know, I go work out, but I come in my, you know, the rest of the day and I work in the business. I get off at 6. I spend time with family. So I've had clients who really, like I have a contractor, he goes, Arno, I'm home by 4:00 every day. And I don't work weekends. I'm like, man, you know, and he's working with my family, and my sister goes, I never met a contractor who doesn't work weekends, and he has to be home at 4. I said, well, I had to say we kind of built his business that way.
Yeah, right? Yes. Okay, that's so good because that's what, like, I think that's part of it, right? And I'm sure you do this with people. Is like, if you, it is the come on now. There's a law, Parkinson's law, I think. Which is, the time it takes to complete a job will expand to the amount of time you give it.
That's correct. I've heard that before.
Right. Which is what you're saying. Like, so if you say like, I can't work, I'm done at work at 4.
Yep.
And you find a way to protect the other times, then you'll find a way to get everything done inside that time. The problem I think a lot of times is we don't give ourselves any constraints. So it's just like our entire calendar is open for business. And there are no constraints. So guess how long it takes you to build your business? It takes your entire calendar because you've never set a time.
Yeah. And one of the things you just don't know how to say no. Everything is open.
Right.
You know, so when you have those constraints, you're going to say no.
Right.
I've learned this too. It forces you to really focus on what works or doesn't work.
Yeah.
Because I think entrepreneurs hate losing opportunity. Mm-hmm. Like I like to get everything, but then not every opportunity is a good opportunity for you. You got to be able to say no.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's the hardest thing. You have to be able to say no.
You and I both know Michael Mayer. You're a certified referral trainer for Michael Mayer, for the referral program. I mean, you teach people how to get referrals. I love that.
Yep.
And he has this acronym FLY. You know, if you really want to fly, you got to first love yourself. And I think sometimes as entrepreneurs, we sort of forget that. And we just kind of go out and be like, we're going to build at all costs. And we forget about the things that fill our tank, the things that fill us up, right? Whether it's a running club or reading a book or whatever it is that you need to do in your calendar to protect your time, you know?
That's correct.
And what I love is this is the work you do.
Yeah, it is. It's fun. I mean, it's exciting when you get business owner and you sit there and talk their stuff out and you kind of go, okay, let's write out the plan and here's what we need to talk about doing. Okay, great. You know, and then I think depending on their personality and depending on how busy they are, it's just getting them to work through what they're thinking and get them to take action. And they usually go, oh my God, this is great. You know, and they go, okay, I understand now. And like, they're shaking their head. They go, hey, this is not as bad as I think. I just think they're telling me that I'm usually just stuck.
Yeah.
And stuck means they're very busy being stuck.
Right.
Busy being stuck.
Yeah.
You know, doing all this stuff because somebody told me, or I think this is the right thing to do. And a lot of times they don't know what's right or wrong. They're just keeping busy.
I think one of the things that is that comes up for me in this conversation is just it's hard in the middle of building to get perspective because like a dog on a bone, you know, where like I have a new puppy. She's like almost 5 months old, and you know, like on a bone, she's like, arr, and she like everything, the whole world around her fades away, and she just can't focus on anything but the bone. And I think with an entrepreneur, we just focus on like it's build, and we need someone to like go, hey, over here, Let's redirect your attention to like what you originally did this for.
That's correct.
Which was lifestyle. Most entrepreneurs get into business for lifestyle.
That's correct.
And which is what you do as a, the business therapist and your business coaching. That's what you do.
That's correct.
So here's what I want to know. Two things. One, last minute advice or parting wisdom on how do people start to take control of their time and kind of leave behind this curse of busyness?
I think the first thing is you got to really decide, do you really want that lifestyle of being busy? I think people know, but they're afraid to say, okay, I'm so busy, I'm not making money. I'm too busy. I'm successful. I'm not taking time. They got to first admit, hey, look, I need to really evaluate if this is what I really want. And I love my business, but I do really want to be this busy.
Right.
And I think that's the hardest thing is people have to admit that it's not going like I planned to go. And, until they do that, nothing can really change.
So good. Yeah. So good. Which leads me exactly into my next question, which is like, I think once you can answer that question, is this really the way I want it to go? If the answer to that is like, I don't want it to keep going this way, the way it's been busy, where I'm super busy and I have no lifestyle. You're able to say, I want something different. Then I think it requires different perspective. I think you have to get outside perspective, which is why what you do is so valuable. So my second question then is if people want to connect with you to begin a conversation about, well, what else could I do? Because I can't see the forest through the trees are now. Like I'm a fish in my own fishbowl. How do I see anything different than what I'm used to seeing? That starts with a conversation. How do people connect with you to start that conversation?
Yeah, they usually just they can just give me a call on my phone line, which is 757-752-8169. And what I usually do, I sit there and talk to them for like half an hour, and just ask a lot of questions, because once you gain clarity, you want to make a change, it's a lot easier to make a change. If you're not sure to make a change, it's very difficult for both parties to go through because you're not ready to do it. And I always tell people it's okay if you're not ready. And just accept the reality you're in, and we'll be friends. If you're not, accept that it's miserable.
Yeah. So good. Such good wisdom, man. So good. I love it. Well, listen, this is another great episode. Episode 3 is in the books. Listen, you guys listen to this. It's like, you got into business for lifestyle. And I think Arnell has some perspective to help you guys kind of get aligned with what it was you originally saw for yourself. So you can call them. People could also go to your website and learn more about you at
it's www.tanyag.net.
Tanyag.net. Perfect. I love it. Arnell, thanks for a great episode, man. And I look forward to talking to you in the next one.
Yeah, too. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
See ya.